Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to day number 6. We're one day away from the last day of the Iberian League, brought to you by Esportsly and Prozis. My name is Nelson H.T. Silva, and joining me is a very handsome, very cute kawaii today, Max Formal von Neumann. How are you doing?
I didn't know you liked the fluff. I mean, I should have known you've got some yourself, but the fluff up here as well. I mean, no, we're doing.
Start yourself out, boy.
Yeah, I'm just gonna rub my face all over. Now, I'm super keen for day 6 of our group stage right now. I think this day has probably more close matches than what we've seen throughout the entirety of this tournament. And one match, well, which I think is going to be fun for a completely different set of reasons. So
Yes.
I'm very keen to get into this one. I think this might be a longer night. I'm hoping to see more of those big game 5s. The fact that we've only had 2 so far is actually kind of surprising. So a lot of drama today. That's what I'm hoping for. A lot of fun ones. So I'm feeling keen for it.
Drama, you said. Well, we're gonna open up with a big one. Infusion Gaming versus the Canyons. Did I say big one?
Yeah. Well, look,
I might have oversold it. I might have oversold that.
It's going to be good. This one, you know what? I think it's going to be fun for a different set of reasons. I mean, obviously, Canyons are coming into this huge favorites. Infusion, have the worst goal differential, haven't won a match. I think they've only won one game as a team so far in this tournament. So to say they've been struggling is a bit of an understatement.
Yeah.
Which means Canyons, that undefeated team, they might have some fun with this. We might actually see a different look for them. This is where they could get a bit experimental, perhaps, and try a different sort of outlook on this game. So we're going to take a quick look at the head-to-head between these two, as you can see right here. Yeah, it's not looking good for Infusion, to say the least.
So Infusion have 0 points to the 15 of the Canyons. They have a good goal score points. I mean, they have 33 to 55 of the Canyons, 30 assists, which means that most of their goals are assisted by their teammates, so they are able to coherently play as a team. And they have a ton of saves, but as we've already established yesterday, having a lot of saves doesn't necessarily mean that your team performs well on the defense. Shots, though, 152 to 135, probably tells me that the Canyons are a little bit more precise in their shots.
Not only that, but I also want to see the goals against, because that's the big error and sort of blemish I feel on the Infusion side is once they start to give up a little, they give up a lot. I mean, a lot of their score lines are 2 to 7, 1 to 6, 1 to 8.
Yeah,
they just tend to implode pretty early into both games and series. Now, we did see them have a good show yesterday against Supermode in game 2, but that was just game 2, not the series as a whole. So we take a look at our 2 players to watch in this one. Of course, Peter Byrne and Zemue. Now, Peter Byrne has been probably the best defender on this Infusion side. He's the one who tends to get the best touches when trying to clear things out. And then you look at Zemue, and well, yesterday in particular, he was making even better touches on offense, getting some of the craziest angles I have ever seen on a Rocket League match.
I mean, not to say that the rest of the team wasn't performing on par, but Zemue yesterday, he was a very, very present player. You could see him all over the place. He was on the defense. He was on the offense. He was collecting all these weird angles. He was performing the big plays, getting the goals in, and I hope to see nothing else from him today coming up against Infusion. Also, we have our standings. Currently, the Canyons are undefeated in first place, and I would say pretty much isolated unless Infusion managed to wrap up an upset, which is highly unlikely, but it's still a possibility.
I mean, you never know. Again, anything can happen. You try something new, it doesn't work, it affects your mental, everything goes kaboom. Now, I'd like to think the Canyons have a stronger mental than that to let one errant game possibly throw them off, but it would be something to watch out for. Also, I believe, just looking at the standings, I was incorrect with what I had before. Weed and Bots still have the largest goal differential, so a little surprised by that one. I'm not sure. I must have done bad math before when I was looking at it. My apologies for that. I still stand by, though, what I said. Infusion, to me, probably is looking, unfortunately, like that bottom team at this stage. Again, a good performance today can completely turn it around, but against the Canyons, I'm very nervous on this one. Very, very nervous. But at the same time, very excited to see what the Canyons are going to be able to do.
Absolutely. Also, we have a 3-way tie, or we could have a 3-way tie looking at Supermode for the win and low numbers at Baco. Let's see how it turns out today. But before we head into the pitch, because the players are ready from Infusion, the players are ready from the Canyons, and we're ready to see some Rocket League action. We're going to have a word from our sponsor, Prozis, and we'll see you in the pitch. And ladies and gentlemen, game number 1 is about to kick off. On the blue side, we're going to have Infusion Gaming Esports, and on the orange side, it's the Canyons, and the first touch is live. It belongs to Stake.
Yeah, it belongs to Stake, and it's dropped perfectly into Tox's lap. Now, I'm already liking how Infusion are pushing towards the mid-pitch. They're not going to fall back on defense. They're going to want to challenge. Unfortunately, the faster team is the Canyons, and it takes them 11 seconds before Zamue, our highlighted player, gets the first goal.
11 seconds, and through the center, we talked about this player. He comes out right from the middle, gets a nice little twirl up in the air, and scores the first goal just 11 seconds in. And I mean, now it's up to Infusion Gaming to get some sort of counterplay going in their favor. Otherwise, this is just going to be a ruffle stomp of a game. And I very much doubt that Infusion are going to have a good time playing against Canyons.
Yeah, well, already, I'm liking how aggressive the Canyons are playing. You can see they're trying to set up some backward passes to push it through. However, Chili nearly finds one, but Zamue on that corner post defense, able to make that save. Doesn't really do bait any of Infusion up forward, but we are seeing some solid mid-pitch, some solid rotations from Infusion. They're not trying to do anything tricky. They're just getting good bangs on the ball and really trying to slow the Canyons from pushing forward. An awkward miss right there might open the door for Johnny, but Tox steals the pass away.
He does steal the pass away. It's Chili who leads the ball all the way to center pitch. Now it's Johnny Souza collects it away. Zamue gets demoed by Peterburn as well. Chili tries to maintain some control of the ball, but there's some discoordination on the midfield of the Infusion Gaming Esports squad. They're focused around trying to bump away the Canyons and not really coordinated when it comes to get the shots. Johnny Souza doesn't trust the touch. He thought that Peterburn had it, but he didn't have it.
Yeah, so already the Canyons are kind of doing what I was a little bit afraid they were going to be doing, what I hinted at in the pregame. They are trying to go for a lot of tricky passes, but when they actually go for the shots, they make them as Tox finds it right there.
Big questions, little answers. I mean, Infusion were kind of well positioned, but you saw a little frog leap happening there from I believe it was Chili, but it didn't even get close to the ball. And all in all,
all right, to the replay mobile. All right, let's actually see what happened right here. Okay,
wow,
it was Zamue launching himself from the corner.
There was a double commit, but nobody went for the actual ball. And when they did go for the ball, they were a bit late? Question mark?
As I said, we're going to see Canyons try new things. Maybe they work. Maybe they don't. Safe to say that one did not work. Did not come close to working, and was one of the worst Rocket League kickoffs I have ever seen.
Are you kidding me? Okay, Tox is there to save the day. Infusion Gaming, hey, they're at least taking advantage of these misplays from the Canyons. The Canyons are feeling a little bit more lax in this game, and I guess it makes sense. They're playing against they're playing against a team who's dead last on the league, and they're just trying to have a good time. But Infusion, they're here to win it. Oh my goodness, Tox is there to save it again.
Yeah, and you've hit the nail right on the head. It's just a case of, like, I think Canyons, they're trying different things. They're going for a lot more passes further back than what they normally do. This time they're able to connect on it, as they did slow down the pace of the passes this time, and Zamue able to go straight down the middle. But yeah, we're seeing, normally when they'd go for one big banging pass, they're going for like 2 or 3 smaller ones time and time again. Some of them are working, some of them aren't. Sometimes when they're trying to set up the passes, Infusion are finding gaps and are able to push through. So Infusion reacting to this different look from the Canyons pretty well. However, the Canyons are still that fast of a team that when they mistake, a lot of the times they have been able to recover and then turn those recoveries into goals.
Oh, that was a nice one too as well. Intended with Zamue, but Zamue was a little bit too fast on trigger there. As Stake tries to reclaim the ball back onto the side of Infusion. Chili, however, sets the ball up for Peterburn, who just swings and misses it. They're still on the offense. Peterburn gets demoed. Chili bounces the ball back onto the Infusion side. It's up to Peterburn to try to clear it. Dangerous player trying to clear the ball across the goal.
Yeah, that could have been bad, but fortunately for Infusion, no one there to punish. Now, still 2 minutes left in this game. If Infusion gets given another couple opportunities like we saw on that kickoff, there is a chance that they can tie this one up. So I don't want to see the Canyons let up too much. I like that pass, and I like that goal even more. Tox just sat in the box waiting for it.
He was just spoon-fed that goal. Stake, incredible ball control here through the wall, just allows Tox to bump it in as easy as it gets. And Infusion, they seem discoordinated on the defense. They don't seem to control the net all that well. Okay.
Another kickoff. That one was intentional. That was the fake, trying to bait two members of Infusion forward, which they were able to do. Now we see the counterattack. Zamue doesn't get the touch. It was a double commit on offense. Stake, the third man, though, will push on through himself and make it a 5-1 game.
5-1 game, 1 minute and 40 seconds left. Double commit there from Zamue and Sox, but it doesn't really matter. That double commit forced members and numbers of Infusion Gaming to try and go up in the air to stop them from getting the touch on that ball, and it left the net wide open for Tux to just push it in again.
Yeah. I've been noticing, I mean, I think everyone really should be noticing the Canyons on kickoffs have been going for a lot of fakes. They did this a fair bit yesterday as well. Is a new look for this team, which is having very mixed success. Obviously, that one goal against them was it going poorly, but that time it worked out exactly as it's drawn up. You bait the other side too far forward off the kickoff. You spend that time, instead of going for the kickoff, setting up your counterattack, and then they executed it pretty well. I don't think it was the correct goal scorer. That play wasn't designed for Stake to knock it in. However, he was still able to. In fact, it actually could have been with the double commit on offense right there and Stake pushing through. Again, he was probably the failsafe in that situation. He did come through, but I like seeing the Canyons try and mix it up, try these new looks, try these new strategies, and we're figuring out which ones work and which ones don't.
Exactly, and if there's ever any set that the Canyons would have the opportunity to test out these plays, I guess it would be against Infusion, because Infusion, they're not putting a lot of risk on the board here for the Canyons. Canyons are still able to score. They're maintaining a very healthy scoreline for themselves. And they're being given the freedom to actually try out these crazier plays. Now, Infusion, they're trying to go on the offense here. They get a nice demo on Stake, but it's not quite enough to maintain pressure on the courts, on the side of the Canyons court.
No, not really enough right now, as Infusion still on the back foot. This has been one of their longer defensive stands at the moment. Ooh, nice little touch up for Tox right there, although Stake unable to recover as Chili beats him to it. Zamue going to go for that 0-second goal, trying to make it 6-1. Peterburn not wanting to lose that bad, tries to clear it. Tox will catch it, throwing it to no man's land, and the ball will drop. So Canyons do take the first game in this series with a 5-1 scoreline. You know, not maybe as many goals as I was expecting, but from the team that has already secured their place in our top four, they have room to play with, and play they did.
That's true. And we saw these last few moments of the game. It was basically just the Canyons freestyling their way into pretty plays and pretty passes. And I'm not even going to say playing with their food, because but yeah, it was basically them just limit testing what they can do and making highlight reel plays fundamentally.
I suppose, and again, I liked some of what they were doing when it was working. The short, tight passes straight down the middle, always fun to watch, as opposed to some of those booming, clear ones that we've seen from them in the past, where they try to counterattack and almost drive it straight down the middle. They're doing a lot of those plays, I guess, further up and doing 2 or 3 as opposed to just one big critical pass. They were given the space to do that, however, by Infusion. Like Infusion, again, at times they were overcommitting on offense, and it did give the Canyons that sort of space to play with. When Infusion did stay back on defense, I did find Infusion did a better job in sort of holding the ground and holding those lines. So assuming Canyons are going to continue that sort of play style, I'd like to see Infusion maybe go for deeper rotations, keep 2 people back, look to try and intercept those passes instead of, you know, overcommitting on that first touch that maybe seems a little bit out of place, because time again. However, you know, new game, I expect the Canyons are probably going to mix up what they're doing as well in the second game, and we just have to watch to see what happens.
Exactly. Do you want to know what I would like to see from Infusion? Just because of the fact that their defensive positioning is so lackluster, I would like to see them do what EC4 did against Los Hombres de Paco yesterday, which is defend on the offense, keep the ball in the half of the Canyons field, and keep the ball there as long as you can. Don't let it cross the midfield. If you're that underwhelming on your defensive positioning, just keep the ball ahead. And if the ball passes, well, I mean, it was gonna go in anyway.
Yeah, that was going to go in, and I mean, well, that ball went in. Zamue, I just want to throw out, he just willed that ball in, and by will, I mean, that's probably the name of his car, because it's throwing his car at the ball 3 different times in order to muscle that one through. Tox now with the reset, has his goal stolen away by the teammate right there. That was Stake getting in the way. Wow. They were going for a pass. Zamue going for resets as well everywhere he can. The Canyons definitely starting to have fun with this ball, maybe starting to freestyle a little bit in this one, as the good clear from Johnny Sosa is disrupted for now. Good pass from Stake to Zamue off the backboard, looking for the double touch, unable to connect.
A little bit of an attempt at a tandem play from Chili, who leads the ball into the goal, but there it is. Zamue is there for the clear. They're not done yet. Infusion Gaming, they are putting up pressure. They're starting to apply some better midfield rotations, but they keep the ball very, very grounded.
Yeah, they do. I mean, Infusion don't have that same aerial prowess that a lot of the other teams in this league have, so they're going to want to keep the ball on the ground. That's where they're going to be looking to play. That's where they feel they have a more even chance, as when the ball gets too high, it sails right over their head. Stakes is able to catch it and make it a 2-0 game.
Yep, and I guess we just tagged on the problem that Infusion Gaming have been suffering from throughout the whole league, which is basically aerial game. We saw from this exact play the perfect example of where Infusion Gaming thrive and how they fail. Let's call it that. Whereas when they're on the offense, you see the ball never goes higher than a jump range, I would say, and they always keep their cars very, very grounded. You see Chili airborne there, but immediately he goes straight to the ground and tries to maintain control of the ball on the ground. While on the other hand, the Canyons, they're all over the walls. They're all over the skies. They want to control the ball airborne, and they want to make plays airborne.
Yeah, they do want to make those plays. I mean, you see it time and time again with the Canyons, and aerial play is really what's required to be one of the standout teams, not just in this league, but any competitive league. That's just an element of your gameplay that you're going to have to adapt. And Zamue nearly able to punch it in. The save was not made in. Okay. Well, you know, as I said before, Canyons are having fun with this one. It's only a 2-goal cushion, and yet they are feeling that confident they're going to be able to hold on.
The Canyons are playing against themselves. Zamue had a tremendous save there, and I'm sure Infusion are very happy about that save. Peter Byrne tries to go airborne. Stake just nearly saves that one. Miracle defense, as the Canyons are running low on boosts. Rotation is kind of slow. Johnny Sosa doesn't get there in time for the double touch.
Yeah, he's still going to make another attempt right now, but Talks just staying still has made 3 saves in a row right now. Look, low effort defense is the best defense, right? Don't burn your boost, just stay in one place. Now he tries to clear it out, but Johnny Sosa able to push forward right now. And this is the longest attack we've seen from Infusion thus far. Canyons not really trying to push it through, although a lot of it has to do with the bump plays coming from Infusion right now, as every time the Canyons push out of the box, it feels like there's a blue card just ramming them back in.
That is true as well, but I do feel like the Canyons are just testing out limit testing their own defense. You know, they want to keep Infusion on the offense to make sure that they can rotate defensively appropriatry. And right now they're going on the offense. Yeah, I guess they got. Okay, well that's it. Okay, well,
look. The ball was bouncing at weird angles. Okay, and you know.
Nah, that's not okay. Nah, dude. Nah,
you know what that reminds me of? You know what that reminds me of? I play baseball on the side just to play into that American stereotype. And sometimes when it's a ground ball rolling through the dirt, it might hit that clump of dirt or that rock or something that you don't expect coming, and all of a sudden it just bounces and goes right over your head, and you never stood a chance. Well, I kind of feel like that's what happened to Peter Byrne right there, except there are no rocks, and the ball will always bounce at that same trajectory kind of that it was coming at. So you should be able to read it. I digress. Baseball's a hard sport.
Yes, very hard sport. Get ball, hit ball with wooden club, bunga bunga. Run. That's baseball.
True, I guess. But by that logic, Rocket League is drive car into ball, goal, in goal, cheer.
Do you know how hard it is to drive car? Drive car hard.
Yeah.
Drive car into ball harder.
As someone who doesn't have a driver's license, I completely understand the sentiment of a drive car hard. So, and you know what? My cars don't even fly. So definitely super impressed with what the Canyons are able to do when they have possession of the ball in this instance.
Nah, they're still they're still doing highlight reel plays. You're going for the jump reset or the flip resets in this case. Going back on the defense now, Johnny Sosa tries to get the ball in the proper position, but there's nobody left here from the Infusion Gaming side to actually collect the spoils of that pass. Chili keeps the ball nice and grounded. Immediately, Stake and Zamue go in for the clear. Get the ball airborne again, where nobody of Infusion Gaming are able to contest it.
And now here comes the Canyons looking to get one last goal before time runs out. Seeing it's 10 seconds left, maybe they'll try to sneak one more away, but a good clear from Infusion might open the door back for this blue side. 5 seconds left. Peterburn going to try and go for the slowest double touch I've ever seen. It's going to be taken away, of course, and now Talks with the long ball. That's accurate. That's a goal with 0 seconds. Canyons just reminding us, when they put in that effort, they make it look so easy.
Yes, they do. And I guess that wasn't even an intended goal from Tox, but wow, was that a long shot from the Canyons. Stuffing it right in, getting to 2-0 for the Canyons, and right now the orange team is in match point, as I guess it was expected.
Yeah. Again, there was 2 Canyons we were going to be seeing today. To be perfectly frank, this wasn't the one I was kind of hoping for. I wanted to see the Canyons, the same Canyons that we saw against, Los Hombres de Paco or against EC4, the Canyons that just come out and look to completely dominate. This is a different Canyons. This is a laid-back Canyons. They're going for your freestyle plays. They're going for those highlights, those resets. And if they actually start to pull them off in this third game, well, then we still might see that similar scoreline. As it stands, though, they've been giving Infusion plenty of chances to score, and unfortunately, Infusion just have not been able to capitalize on them. They're 1 goal so far in the series, coming off of that kickoff where all they had to do was drive straight. So Infusion, a lot of pressure on them. Maybe they can start to turn it around. They're being given that chance. Well, let's see them execute on it.
They are. They're being given a lot of room to breathe, and this is more room to breathe than what I've ever seen the Canyons give any other team throughout the whole league. The Canyons are pretty much locked in with the top 4. We've already discussed this, so they're pretty much limit testing what they can do as a team, limit testing what they can do with prettier plays and all of that. So, honestly, this could very well be the last game, but I am still one.
Whoa!
Oh boy!
What is this?
Okay. Okay.
I have never seen this before, but you bet I'm going for that ball. All right, I'm just gonna.
Something happened. Something happened.
I have never seen that one before. That is a brand new glitch. I'm not sure that came up on the stream or not, but there was about 10 cars on each side of the field right there. That one, everyone and their grandmother got to play that last game. Oh boy.
I was confused. First of all, we got a different map. And I was like, is this intended? And all of a sudden, my own car was there. My car with a little twirly hat. And I was like, wait a minute. What is going on?
My favorite thing about all that was I was in my orange car, so I was on the Canyons, yet it started me on the blue side of the pitch.
Oh, I was for a millisecond, I was part of the Canyons as well.
Yeah, dude, that means we're 2-0. We got this.
We should have asked our producer to actually pass that, honestly. I think it would have been I think that would have been great. Just let the whole 10-on-10 car match come through.
Yeah, exactly. That was one of the best glitches I have ever seen. But again, we will be able to get back onto that pitch very soon. I just need to recompose myself.
Apparently, I was a party leader for a moment, and I guarantee I did not touch anything. That was not my badge.
That glitch might have actually just topped the glitch I had back in week 1 of this event when I couldn't see the cars at all and I just saw a ball magically floating around the pitch going everywhere. My goodness, that was special. Either way, though, I think I
wonder if I can put it in my resume that I've been a part of the Canyons for a game.
I think I mean, sure. I don't know if Rocket League really needs towel boys, but I'm sure you'd be super fantastic at that job.
Water boys, please, which is something that I'm experienced on. And here we go, 3rd game of the set. Still Infusion Gaming Esports on the blue with the Canyons on the orange, and they're already playing aerial, they're already playing games, bouncing it off the backboard and stuffing it in with stake, but no, Peterburn is there for the save.
Yeah, good save right now. However, Infusion very slow on the counterattack. They go for the pass play into the demo, but that speed just not quite there, so the defense able to recover and make that save. That's what we talk about when we say speed right now, sort of that ability to get counterattacks at times, the ability to just race that ball down the field, but the touch is not quite as powerful as their opponents. And Infusion, that's just another element of their gameplay that unfortunately, if they want to rise their game to the next level, they're going to need to hit the ball harder.
Yep. And they're trying to hit the ball a little bit harder, but it's still not enough to keep the Canyons away from the... Oh my goodness. Everybody tries to go for the hit. Looks like Shelly's got an open goal. And the Infusion Gaming Esports squad opens up the scoreboard. Okay.
Yeah, And that was the speed I was talking about. They saw the opening. It was a great touch down the middle. Chile already in their opponent's box. That's going to be a 1-0 game. And fantastic look from Infusion. Now, I could be super critical of the Canyons right there. They had everyone on the attack. It was a double commit that sort of opened the door. And well, you know, you poke the bear will kind of slap you right back down, as we see right here.
That was a thunderous strike right in the corner. How do you even get to that ball at that speed?
You know, I believe there was a wave dash into some boosts, into just banging it on through. So the ability to generate that kind of momentum without the use of boost is something that like all the top mechanical players in Rocket League are able to do. And you saw it pretty much executed near perfectly right there. Now Steak on the defense does get a good touch on the ball. He's going to try and bang it past Chile, but nope, it's a pass. They fooled you, Zemue, throwing it back to the box, but no one is there to clear it out immediately. So as a result, we see the demo, we see the backboard setup, but no one's there to take the shot.
Also, Tox changed his car. He was using the Octane, and now he's going for the SUV minivan kind of car. I never know the name of that car, but he gets another goal in. Second one courtesy of Steak on the pass there.
That would be the Fennec, by the way.
The Fennec, got it.
Using as he spikes that one down and into the goal. I have tried using the Fennec. I have to admit, I do not like using the Fennec. I thought he would suit me because I like going for solo plays when I play Rocket League, but no. I'm still a dominant fan. You have to buy it. You have to get the blueprint and then buy it.
I see. That explains why I do not have it. Okay. I'll stick with my dominance for the time being. Zemue, though, kicks the ball right down to center. Johnny Souza picks it up. Steak immediately cuts it off in the midline. There's no defensive prowess here unless Johnny Souza gets a little bit too ahead of the ball. Sets it up perfectly, but there's nobody left from Infusion Gaming to really rebound the ball. And what a shot from Steak Peterburn!
Peterburn, my goodness, that was the best save I think we've seen yet today. The timing on that one was immaculate, and he used the backboard to try and get the clear as well. That's exactly from the touches you want. What you don't want is backflips completely missing the ball. Steak going for a very tight double touch, has the angle, but no, Peterburn able to recover and make that save.
All right, so he chokes on the first ball touch just to get the save. He's doing it for the highlight reels. Everything makes sense now.
Absolutely. Look, it's all about the style plays, right? You know, you got to put together your team montages, get that social media pumping, get yourself known, and then who knows? You get your following, you get your contract, and one day you might be playing for the Canyons as well. As we can see Steak trying to pass to Zemue. I don't think the Canyons are looking for a roster swap, to be perfectly frank. This team has been gelling very well throughout this league. As Steak doesn't like the look at the touch. Toxin says he's going to push forward. Okay, you know, a double commit right there. Maybe some small dissensions in the ring. No.
Peterburn misses a touch again. It looks like Steak is setting up the ball for Infusion Gaming Esports. It's a 4v2 as it stands. Johnny Souza takes the ball off the air. He also flops a touch as Johnny Souza is out of boots and still manages to touch it towards center field. Now 3 members of the Canyons try to go for an offense. Chile makes a nice little save as Johnny Souza is chasing around the ball, gets it airborne, touches it to the center field, but immediately Zemue cuts it back onto the side of Infusion.
Yeah, now we're getting to see Tox put some pressure on. That's a shot, but a save by Johnny Souza using a bit of that top crossbar to help him out. Pass out of the box to Johnny. Tries to throw it back to Peterburn, but a bit too much power behind him means Peterburn unable to get a clean catch. And now Canyon's going to try to show how it's done. Zemue not able to get that ground pitch straight down the middle. Here comes Johnny, but the bump play did not connect, and Tox steals it away.
Yeah. That's, if that ball was airborne, I think it would have been a clean play for Infusion Gaming Esports, but, you know, having it so grounded, trying to dribble the ball through the ground makes it just so easy for the Canyons to counterplay it and cut it off and start their own counterplay, really.
Yeah, that's absolutely the case. It's now Steak. Gets bumped off trying to clear it. I do believe that was Chile with the bump. However, Tox playing through the goal does make that sweeping save. 38 seconds to go. Canyons looking for yet another goal in this one. Ball rolling near in a dangerous spot. Chile tries to drive it back, but gets demoed. Return favor. Demo for demo. 30 seconds to go. Canyons again pushing towards the blue side of the pitch.
Okay. Then, I guess no more Mr. Nice Car ball thing, because everybody's starting to demo each other, and the ball's dangerously close to Infusion Gaming Esports' box as Zemue tries to clear it back to his own side of the field. Gets a play going with Toxin and Steak. Steak just misses the touch that would allow Tox to get the ball in. 6 seconds left on the clock. It's 2-1 on the scoreboard. This could be the 3-0 sweep for the Canyons. Let's see if the last second brings anything else. to the board as the ball is still airborne.
Ball still airborne, but eventually it will drop. Canyons do take the series with the expected 3-0. Probably closer scorelines, especially in game 3, than what we were expecting to see in it. However, what is interesting about this series is every single time the Canyons put a conceded effort, it feels like outside of kickoffs, they were scoring goals at ease. It was when they were mixing things up where they started to struggle, especially in that third game where they kind of went full aggression. Let's just get bumps and demos. Who cares about the ball? It's more fun blowing up our opponents. Ha ha, rocket cargo, boom. They didn't score as much, but that's okay because Infusion, they struggled throughout. Sometimes they had those moments of individual brilliance, but for the most part, a lot of unforced errors, a lot of missed balls, and a lot of bad touches, and that still continues to hold Infusion back.
It's true. I mean, like we already knew starting off the series that Infusion were the inferior team. When I mean, it's basically David and Goliath, except Goliath has a lot of armor, and David doesn't even have a slingshot. It's just not. It's not a fun
Yeah.
game to play.
Goliath kind of just like reached down, picked up the slingshot, and then tried to do a flip reset on it. So that's kind of what happened right there with this one. And yeah, Canyons do get that clean win.
Yeah, it was as clean as it gets. It truly is. Infusion still showed some moments of brilliance, but overall, it's part of having that aerial game that really makes the difference here between being a very competitive team against the top teams and just trying to play your own game. In this case, Infusion tried to play their own game. It did not work out that well for them because every time the Canyons took control of the ball and brought it airborne, they were immediately outclassed.
Yeah. Exactly that. Again, it just felt like when the Canyons actually put, their full foot down on that gas pedal, they scored at whim. Every time Infusion kind of got in one of those early goals to kind of tie things up, that tie would last all of like 5-6 seconds, and then the Canyons would have their lead, and then they'd go back to having a bit more fun with this one. So definitely was a case of the Canyons almost playing with their food, trying out new looks, trying out new strategies, and why not? They've secured their top 4. It was the top ladder team versus the bottom ladder team. They could afford to kind of have a bit of fun with this one, and fun they had. Now, do we get to see them keep practicing some of these new looks and then put them into and implement them, I should say, once we hit that top 4? Well, that's what we're going to find out in a few weeks' time. But for now, this Canyons team looking very, very strong and very, very confident.
Yep. And before we head into break, we have an interview with Tox, who's already ready to be here again with us. Hey, Tox! Since yesterday, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fine. What about you guys?
I'm doing fine. How about you, Max? Are you doing fine?
I'm doing fine. So, Tox, first question, just going to throw this out there. Start of game 3, the real game 3, I was placed on that Canyons team. When will I be expecting my contract in the email?
Oh, man.
Probably tomorrow evening.
Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect. All right,
that.
good to see. Good to see.
Man, that was a fun little break, wasn't it? Okay, so that out of the way. Clean 3-0. Were you playing to your best, or were you just overall play testing, see what works and what doesn't? Because we saw a lot of highlight reel plays. We saw a lot of freestyling as well. How did that work out for you guys?
I think we're just having fun, just chilling. We're just having fun.
Yeah.
I mean, you was having fun. I mean, we could tell with, reset attempts on your own side in the corner for no reason. I don't believe that was Zamue who went for that one, but sometimes it did look like you guys were having a little bit too much fun, especially in the first game. A couple of those kickoffs where the one where Infusion scored in particular, where it looked like you were going for the fake, but you weren't committing on it. What exactly went down for that one?
I'm not really sure which kickoff you mean, but
it was the one where Infusion scored in the first game.
Kickoff scored. Just
was there where Samuel missed the kickoff?
Yes. It wasn't you specifically. It was someone. Someone missed the kickoff, but no one on Canyons came close to touching the ball.
Oh, that was probably when I don't know. Samuel's having the problem that his controller's not working properly. So sometimes when he does a kickoff, his second X button doesn't register.
That
So
explains why he launched about a solid 15 meters over the ball.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's the reason why.
There was an explanation. Sense. Okay,
it wasn't on purpose. It wasn't on purpose. He did the run and keep.
Okay, what about Zamue's grandiose defense on Infusion Gaming's goal? Was that on purpose? Because I know Zamue was inside Infusion's box, and he cleared the ball that you shot at.
I don't know, man.
Nobody knows, honestly. It was a fun
I don't know
game.
what
I,
he's
I,
thinking there.
I got one more question, probably a bit more of a serious one. Next week you do have your game against Supermode. Most likely, if everything goes out with the favorites sort of winning their matches, that's going to be a battle for that #1 seed, essentially going into the top 4. How important is that game for you guys as a squad, and how much work and effort are you going to be putting into that matchup?
Um, I mean, we're just gonna continue scrimming as usual, and just see how it goes. Probably, I don't know. We're obviously confident going into the game versus Super Mode, but they'll probably put up a good fight.
All
All
right.
right.
Fair enough. So that's what we're looking for next week. It's going to be the match of the week, to be honest. It's going to be one of the two, or arguably the two best teams realistically.
Yeah, I would say so. So it's going to be a fun one, but that's going to be next week. We still have more games today. Thank you so much for joining us, Talks, as well. Looking forward to see how you perform next week. And again, congrats on your victory.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. And that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to hit the short break before we head into our second set of the day between Los Hombres de Paco and For the Win. You won't want to miss it. We'll be right back with you.